Welcome to Colts Beer, the podcast where football fever meets cold beer. Here we talk all things Indianapolis Colts, from epic touchdowns to close games to the hottest NFL rumors. Sit back, grab your favorite beverage, and let's tackle the next quarter together. Go Colts!
Hello everybody and welcome back to Colts Beer. We are a little bit late, sorry for that. We have today again talk about a sad loss for the weekend. But we have an awesome guest today again. Thank you for being us, JJ. But before I give it to you, my beer of the day is the Brausch Dribble Helles. I think I had it before here. I really like it. And because I had my last exam today, I decided to choose an Indiana whiskey for today here. So yeah, let's have a drink. And JJ, I will give it to you.
Hey, it's 2:11 in Eastern time, so I've got a iced espresso here that I'm sipping on. Maybe later tonight I'll break into a beer or some bourbon, but not right now, not at work.
No bourbon in the coffee.
No. I like my job.
I'll jump in now. I've got this is day 3 of my my beer advent calendar. So I've got the Founders All Day IPA. So a session.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah, from Michigan, I believe. So yeah, I mean, cheers guys. Cheers JJ for jumping back on.
So yeah, hi. I'm today on a business trip. So I'm with my co-workers at a small bar in Dortmund and drink Brinkhoff. So I'm only here to introduce myself and the day today. Then I go drinking my beer. So I will start with the game and then I go drinking beer. It's much easier for you all. So for me, the game at the weekend was really crazy. To see Philip Rivers 5 years later again as our starter. I mean, he was one of the 5 biggest in the last 20 years. So there's no question, I think. And the game was really good. But yeah, you have seen the passes was sometimes not on point because he's new in the league. So 3 days with the team. I think it is usually that you can't bring 100% in this moment. Some guys was talking about his movement, but the movement was the whole career. He was more like a tank. He is staying and throw the perfect balls. So, and I hope we can bring a game plan for him because in the last game was so. The run game was stopped by one of the best run defenses we had in the league. But usually you need to throw the ball perfect to bring a difference in the game. So I hope he can go a step up for this moment and bring him to the playoffs. But if the defense stays healthy and like the last game, and Buckner's coming back and Sauce Gardner's coming back, holy shit, against a Seahawks defense, stays so strong on the field. It was amazing. So, and for me, the whole time, we had one of the best defense in the league in this moment. So, and yeah, they won, but we were strong. And that was amazing for me as fan.
Yeah. Awesome. So, before we jump in, Lucas, pleasure to have you here. It's Lucas from Brazil. Are you ready for the Christmas miracle with Grandpa Phil? I think we will all talk about this, and probably we are.
I'm definitely ready for it. Absolutely. I think to jump on from what you said, Christoph, I think Philip looked good.
Maybe short. I'm out. I go drinking beer. Have fun, guys.
Have fun.
Hi, Christoph.
Yeah, I think for me, everything inside the numbers looked good. Obviously, he's only had 3 days practice. you're not necessarily going to be able to push the ball down the field. Whether he still has that in the locker, I guess we'll still see. But inside the numbers, everything looked good. It's just maybe when we're talking about some of the outside, kind of the quick outs, they kind of floated on him a little bit, which I think is to be expected. The guy's been retired for 5 years. But I think there was promising moments in that I felt like he could manage the offense. Like the Seahawks is a great defense, a great team, playing on the road, hostile environment. And I mean, we were one drive away, 47 seconds away from going and shocking the NFL. So there's some hope, and I think it's the hope that kills you, I guess. But I have some hope about the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of piggyback off that, Sam. I think like what you said about Phil, maybe inside the numbers, you could tell like the timing is still there. Mm-hmm. The throw he had to Warren, where he just kind of like got it in between kind of that soft spot in the zone, the very tiny little hole. He made that throw, and I was like, that is a vintage Phillip Rivers throw. He's still got that club in his bag. I think as he gets a little more acclimated to the offense, to the speed of the game, like when I talked with former players, the thing they all told me last week was like the thing that's going to take him the longest is getting acclimated to the speed of the game. It's not necessarily getting hit or, working with his receivers. It's like when you've been out for 5 years, you haven't experienced how fast everything is. I think now that he's got that under his belt, I think that gives him a better shot on Monday night, just with, okay, hey, this is how fast it is. As a reminder, now we go, the old Phillips saying. So I think it's going to look better on Monday night. Again, kind of like you're saying, Sam, I don't know if that involves him pushing the ball downfield. I don't know if he needs to. Mm-hmm. I just think it's going to be, okay, get the timing down, get, some of these, we're a little more experience with these receivers, a little more trust with these receivers. You could tell he trusted Pitt, like right off the jump because he played with him. I think, the catch that Downs had, the catch that Pierce had, Warren had, a couple moments. Those things are all going to benefit Phil now going forward into this game on Monday night, where he has built up that trust in a game setting. And again, he's seen the speed of the game now. It's not going to be, it's certainly not new to him, but it won't kind of be a, wonder what this is like. Now he knows, and I think that'll really benefit him.
Maybe because of Phillip Rivers, maybe you can tell us a bit about how was it in Indiana, in Indianapolis, where it came out that we actually going to invite Phillip Rivers. I mean, for us here, it was like, haha, what is it, NFL memes? Or in the first moment, before we realized, oh no, it's not a joke. And then we get pretty fast when we thought about it. We thought, okay, it makes sense in several points. But how was the reaction in Indy?
I think the way that things flipped, at least, I mean, I can speak for inside this building. The way that things flipped on Monday from we just lost Daniel Jones, we just lost our lead in the division, we've lost our spot in the playoffs, to, oh my God, Phil's coming back. Like the flip that created here, like the vibe in this building on Tuesday was completely different than the vibe in this building on Monday. Like there was a solution. There was like, he's going to do it. Mm-hmm. And, obviously there's questions of like, can he still do it? But I think once everyone, when Phil got here and he gets in the meeting rooms and he's working with Shane and those two guys are, two peas in a pod. And then, he's out there on the practice field throwing it around. I think like the overwhelming sense I got from guys is like, hey, we're excited for this. Like it means something to these guys, to the other 52 guys on the roster, that Phillip Rivers at the age of 44, after not playing for 5 years, gave up his eligibility for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, got off his couch in Alabama and said, yeah, I want to give it another go slinging it around with the guys. That's awesome. That's so cool. It injected so much life into this team. And I know the Colts didn't win this game on Sunday, but they were 2 touchdown dogs in this game. No one gave them a shot. And they led the game with less than a minute to go. It doesn't matter because they lost. And the record is 8-6. But the way that team played was inspired. And I think that will continue now going forward. Phil said something great after the game where he was like, you could see how much guys cared. You could see the work they put in, all that. he's like, that doesn't always lead to a win, but he's like, this team has it. And now it's about translating that into winning these last 3 games, because if the Colts do, they have a 98% chance to make the playoffs. Yeah. So you win out and just see where it goes. And, but I mean, really, like, you know, I think once you got past the shock factor and the novelty factor of watching Phil throw the ball around at the age 44, it was like, okay, let's go figure out how to make this work. And the Colts nearly did that this weekend in Seattle.
Yeah, I think you could see from the sideline when he scored the touchdown just how fired up the whole team was. I don't think I've seen the sideline look like that at any point this season. Not saying they've been unfired up, but just so fired up for that moment that Uncle Phil brought us. I think, and I mean, you can probably speak to this, JJ. I mean, he seems like he's just like the perfect locker room guy as far as a leader goes. He seems
I mean, without a doubt, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like without a doubt, the way that he came in here and the way that he communicates with guys. I was talking to Josh Downs about this after the game, because Josh was like, you know, he's one of the most like communicative people I've ever been around. And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? And he was like, he just talks to everyone, and and it's almost like he knows how to talk to everyone, right? Like, you know, he's so communicative of like, hey, when we get this, I'm doing this. Or, you know, if the defense does this, I'm doing that. And, you know, you got to really be locked in as a pass catcher to stick with that. And I think, you know, that communication is only going to improve. It's only going to continue. You know, the Colts getting this kind of, you know, maybe a little extra day this week for the 49ers, I think might help a little bit too. But I mean, guys love playing. Like the guys who hadn't played with him were all just like blown away at how much fun it was to play with him.
Yes, well, when we talk about communication, we just want to have him mic'd up every week.
I would love that too.
Philip Rivers on the field is one of the most funny things.
Look. I mean, we got Phil for, you know, a couple more games here. I need the mic up. I need the mic up. I mean, who knows if it happens, whatever. But like, I need the mic up, because 2020, the last time we saw him, there were no fans in the crowd, so you could hear everything. You didn't need him mic'd up. I was in Chicago. I was covering the Bears when he's, you know, you know what the clip I'm talking about, right? Where he gets up to the line and he goes like, "Set hut," and he's trying to draw the Bears offside, and he, you know, "Set hut, hey, 5-58, hey, 2-8, turn the corner on you, Roquan Smith." You know, he turned the corner on you. Then he calls timeout. It's one of my favorite football clips ever of him talking smack before he even calls the timeout.
He did this on Sunday too.
The clock's still going. He's talking smack. It's amazing. But the point is, we didn't need the mic up then, because you could hear everything.
Yeah.
Now we're going to need the mic up.
I think he actually did it on Sunday too. There was a 4 and 5 that tried to make them jump, and he stopped it like 5 seconds before and just started talking. And at that point, he was
he didn't go all the way down to 1 second on the game clock. It was like 5 seconds left.
Okay. He won't jump.
Yeah, I mean, as far as away fields go, I don't imagine you get the Seahawks to jump much in that environment. But.
No. That, by the way, that was the first time I was ever at a game in Seattle, and I got to give them a ton of credit, because they do a great job. Their fans are incredible. You probably heard about the 12s and, you know, the 12th man and all that. They do a great job there, and the fact that we only lost that game by 2, took it right down to the wire in that environment against that defense. That's one of the 3 best in the NFL. It's them, the Texans, and the Broncos for my money. God, it was an impressive game. It stinks that they were able to win it, but I'll always think about that game as like how much the Colts battled in that game, and how they were undermanned. It wasn't just that we had Phillips starting at quarterback. It was that we're down our 2 starting outside corners in Sauce and Mooney, and then, you know, we're down our 2 starting tackles for the entire second half, with, you know, Braden being on IR and Bernie leaving with an elbow injury. That was an undermanned team that went out and kicked some butt, you know, and really competed with a Seahawks team that I think is one of the best in the NFL. So it was a really impressive game. Again, it doesn't mean that you win every one of them, but it was very impressive.
Yeah, and talk about how competitive we were. One of the big positives for me Sunday and just throughout the whole season was Alec Pierce. Now, I know Phillip Rivers maybe isn't the perfect quarterback at this stage of his career for a guy who can stretch the field and is going to take them deep shots. But when we needed Alec Pierce, he didn't really see much of the ball, not many targets. But when we needed him in that second to last drive, but the drive that put us ahead, a massive catch on third down. It just, I mean, what's the vibe in the building? I mean, I think as fans, myself definitely is just, get that man his contract. Like, got to bring Alec Pierce back for sure.
Yeah, he's been fantastic this year. My colleague Amanda Foster wrote a really nice article about a month ago about how he's become a complete wide receiver, not just, your deep ball guy. Certainly that's what he's best at. Like you throw the ball up to him downfield and a 50-50 ball becomes an 80-20 ball. Like that's what Reggie Wayne always likes to say. But he's the stuff that he's doing on crossers, in breaking routes. I remember when the Colts worked him out in 2022, they really wanted to figure out if he could grow as an intermediate receiver. They knew what he did down the field was all over his tape at Cincinnati. But it was, can he become that 10 to 20 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, between the numbers type receiver? And the first couple of years of his career, he didn't hit that, but he is absolutely doing that this year. Even against Houston in that game where, it was real tough sledding against that defense. Alec hit a couple in-breakers in that game that really helped move the ball. He obviously had the one in the end zone. That was an incredible catch, and what a throw by Daniel Jones. But the in-breaking stuff, I think, has also allowed him to access more of the vertical stuff, because you can't just squat on a vertical route with Pierce anymore. You do have to respect that if he gets to the 12 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, he might, decelerate down and cut inside. And, eventually, I don't know if it'll happen this year now with, Phil throwing the ball where he isn't going to push it as much, but I was just waiting for the AP double move to hit at some point this year. Where in a key moment, you get a corner who's just, okay, he has shown this enough now on tape. I might need to squat on, the in-breaker instead of, going deep. And then, Alec, just toasts him or something. I was just waiting on that. I was hoping it was going to happen. Maybe it still will. Phil can still sling it a little bit if he's got a clean pocket. So we'll see. But no, he's been great. And then the other stuff that Pierce has been doing, blocking downfield, being physical in the run game. He's really done all the other stuff that you want out of a receiver. Whether it leads to him sticking around here, I don't know. I'm sure the Colts would love to have him back, but there are financial realities and roster building realities that do have to be taken into account here. So I think it's very much an open-ended question in, how this is going to go come free agency in March.
Yeah. I mean, as a fan, would love to have him back. Like you said, he's not just that deep shot anymore. The other things he's brought this season. I mean, he reminds me. Him and Pitt are quite similar. I think in the run game, they're just a couple of dogs. They look ready to, they're going to block. And I think we get that from everyone. Even JT this year has been blocking great in the passing game as well. Tyler Warren is a one-man wrecking ball, really. So yeah, it's good to see someone like Pierce, show that he's not just that, Hail Mary guy. We'd love to have him back.
So before we go on, I would jump in with some comments. It's Marcel, JJ, you know him.
Punch!
Yeah, exactly. Hi, JJ, and he's asking where's Clyde. JJ, we used to plan having Clyde from Sick Podcast, from the Anvil crew, with us today too, but he was busy. He wasn't able to make it. So yeah.
Next time we'll get him on next time.
Yeah. So
what's the thoughts in the building about Jalen Travis? I thought 1.5 games now. He's looked really solid at right tackle. Is there? Do we maybe have our potential future there at the right tackle? Obviously with Braden on. It's
a great question, Sam. I think he's been really solid. And he's a guy who I had a conversation with Tony Sperano Jr. about him earlier this year. And, Tony was basically just like, look, if we need him to play, we think he can play. It's kind of, sort of bared itself out over the last couple of weeks where he's gone in there. I don't think he allowed a single pressure in the Seattle game, according to Pro Football Focus. And, you turn on the tape and he had some really good moments. Like, he is big. He is a like physically just like big dude. And he's incredibly athletic. So, I think working with those two things, I think the Colts absolutely see a future with him. They got a decision to make on Braden Smith, who's going to be a free agent after this year. But, Braden's been a huge part of this team for the last 7 years now. Yeah. I think I don't want to just lose what he's brought to this team and what he's meant to this team. It's kind of one of the unsung guys who's been a part of these teams for the last couple of years, 7 years here. But having said that, Jalen Travis very much, I think, does have a future here in Indianapolis as a player who could compete to start. And, we'll see if that plays out next year or the year after or whatever it might be. But he's got something to him. And I think you're absolutely right to kind of highlight him here, Sam.
Yeah. We talk a lot about Braden Smith in the WhatsApp community and stuff like that. We are a little bit worried about that Braden Smith will go the same way as Kelly or Fries last year. They'll probably get an offer we can't match next summer. Well,
yeah, and I think the other part with Kelly and Fries too is the Colts did have replacements kind of in the building already, and in the case of those guys, they had to make a decision, right? Of like, we have Bortolini and Gonzalez here. And we need to spend money on our secondary. We need to improve our secondary significantly. Absolutely. If there was unlimited money and no cap, the Colts would have done what they could to keep Will Fries and Ryan Kelly around. But this is kind of, again, it's the reality of roster building where you have to say, okay, we've got to allocate this money toward positions where we maybe don't have someone in the pipeline. Like at outside corner, the Colts didn't really have a guy in the pipeline who could be that number one lockdown corner like we thought Charvarius Ward would be. And that's a situation that is completely unavoidable. Like, he's just had some of the worst luck I've ever seen a player have in a season with these concussions. And then, you also got to spend money on Cam Bynum at safety. And Cam Bynum has been fantastic in the back end this year. Whatever success the Colts defense has had this year has really been in large part due to Cam Bynum. You may not see it, but, this Seahawks game, he was awesome. He played a really fantastic game. So, the Colts needed that there. And they had to say, okay, we would love to keep Will Fries around, but we can't because we got to pay these guys. So Matt Gonzalez, you're up. And that might be the reality with a guy like Braden Smith of like, well, okay, where do we need to go address something on this roster? Well, we got a replacement. We got the young guy here who is on a rookie contract. We might need to slide him in there and go allocate that money elsewhere. Or the Colts could say, Braden Smith's too important. We want to bring him back. Like that these are all decisions that are going to come after the season, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I think perfect segue there when you were talking about the defense. Obviously, jump into what we saw on Sunday, which barring the final 28 seconds or whatever it was, the Seahawks did that their field goal winning drive on. I mean, the defense just absolutely balled pretty much all game. I think myself included, I thought if we were going to win in Seattle, I thought we'd have to put up 30 points. It'd be a high scoring game. To see the defense not give up a touchdown, I mean, when you consider all the injuries they had as well, I think Lou and the guys were pretty phenomenal on Sunday.
I thought that was our best defensive game of the year. I know Seattle had some explosives. I know we didn't turn the ball over, but that Seahawks offense is really freaking good. Jackson Smith-Njigba is probably the best offensive player in the NFL at wide receiver. And Sam Darnold's a really talented quarterback. The fact that, like you said, Sam, they didn't score a touchdown when we were missing Sauce, or missing Mooney, we're missing Buckner. That was a complete effort. Lou Anarumo did a really good job in that game. Guys played fast. I thought guys like Rodney Thomas II made meaningful contributions in this game. JT Tuimoloau had some really nice moments in this game. Obviously, Latu and Zaire Franklin, and those guys had their moments, but Jonathan Edwards had that great pass breakup. Like this was as spirited and complete a game as that defense has played. And yes, again, Seattle got the plays they needed to go win the game, but like it came down to it. I mean, playing 60 minutes against an offense that was second in the NFL in points scored and holding them to 18 was very impressive. And getting off the field on third down as much as they did, Seattle was 2 of 13 on third down in this game. Colts got to bottle that on defense and really, dispense that for these last 3 weeks. That's what it's going to have to look like, I think. I wouldn't expect the Colts to be winning a ton of games, 38-35 down the stretch. But it's probably got to look more like a grinded out 20-17 type game where the defense does what they did against Seattle. They're able to do that, against San Francisco and Jacksonville and Houston and make things tough and play fast and play together. And the other thing that I loved about that game is I don't think the Colts had a penalty on defense in this game. That's also the kind of play that they need. That's the standard. In a game like this where things are going to be real tight down the stretch, you're going to have to play clean football. And the Colts, no penalties on defense, I'm pretty sure. That is another real key marker there. That guys are playing with really good technique. They were locked in. They were fast all game, and it was really impressive.
Yeah, I think Nick Cross as well. I mean,
yeah, he was great. Yeah,
we talk about unlucky bounces, and you said we didn't obviously get a turnover, but this is how these things go. Fumble on Darnold, if that bounces our way, you're either running it in for a touchdown or you're starting on the 5-yard line or whatever it was. Just little things, just kind of, and it's kind of been the story of the last few weeks. Is other than the Jacksonville game where I think pretty much anything that could go wrong did go wrong. We've been a one score away, and just certain plays that hit at certain times that seem to just be detrimental to us at the moment. But
yeah, it's real frustrating, Sam, because when you think back on it, in this losing 5-year last 6 games, maybe. We'll throw the Steelers game out, but we'll call it, losing these last 4 games, 3 of them, it's like you make one more play and you might win those games. And then the other one, the Jags game, well, your starting quarterback got hurt. You don't, of course, I don't want to say, of course, the Colts lost because they still tried, but like teams don't just lose their starting quarterback in the first half and win games. Like that's not something that happens in the NFL. So, that one I can kind of write off, but yeah, it's like you're one play away against the Seahawks, you're one play away against the Texans, you're one play away against the Chiefs, and I hope that we don't get to the end of the season and say the Colts missed the playoffs, and golly, if they just made a couple more plays, it's almost easier to stomach sometimes getting blown out, where it's like we weren't the better team, but it's like the Colts that hasn't shown up. This team has fought and scrapped in these games and just came up, one play against the Texans here, one play against the Chiefs here. And those are the ones that are like really tough to live with at the end of the season. One play against the Seahawks here. Even if you play a good game, you got to play for all 4 quarters. You got to finish it off. And it's losing those games by a combined 8 points, or I guess 9 points. That's tough. That's a real tough way to kind of go down in those games.
Yeah, Sam Darnold did not have a great day on Sunday. We have to give credit to my fantasy football leagues. JJ, you didn't know. Last week I said I had Sam Darnold in 2 of my leagues in fantasy playoffs, and I said I will go to start him over Lamar Jackson in 1 league, just because he's going to lose my fantasy game. So. He did what I expected, like 13 points or something like that, but it wasn't enough.
No touchdowns.
Yeah, but this one pass to JSN at the end, this one he could miss.
Yeah,
I would be happy with that.
Yeah, or like miss one to Shaheed on that last drive. That would have been nice, but they, and you got to give the Seahawks credit. Like Mike McDonald did a tremendous job with the clock down the stretch there. And then they made the plays that they needed to on offense, which was just 2 plays because, Shaheed had the 37-yard return. And then once they hit that one that was 17 yards, you knew it was going to be tough. And I actually give Lou Anarumo a lot of credit. If you watch the next play back after the Shaheed one, I think Lou got like everyone lined up over the line of scrimmage, and he threw whatever he had left in the tank at the Seahawks there. And, give Darnold credit that he found Shaheed on the out for the first down or the gain of 8. But Lou wasn't just sitting back and saying, you can have this. He was trying something, and give Darnold credit that he made sure, it didn't work.
Talking about time management at the end of the game, we talked a lot about go for the 4th and 3 to bring the clock down or kick the 60 yards.
Look, I mean, I think in that moment you kick the field goal. Like what do you like? I think you have to take into account as a coach in that moment the whole percentages of it. So if you go for it on 4th and 3 and you don't get it, the ball game is pretty much over, because you think, if you don't get it, okay, you have all 3 timeouts, but the Seahawks take over at their own 40. And if they get a first down, or even if they don't get a first down, they can probably pin you inside your 15 with a punt. And then you got to go the length of the field with Phillip Rivers back there at quarterback, who can't really push it downfield in this game with no timeouts. Like that would be a lot. And also, the Colts hadn't had a lot of success on offense in the second half after losing Bernard Ryman. So I think you're also looking at that and saying, like, let's just kick the field goal and leave it in the hands of our special teams and defense. I think, it's very easy to criticize the process when it doesn't go well. I think it was a good process. I mean, Shane clearly had confidence that Groupie could hit that kick. And then your special teams had been really good all game in making plays on Shaheed on kickoff returns. They just didn't get one there. If you tackle Shaheed at the 25-yard line, then it's 3 plays Seattle has to run to get into range. Instead, he's able to get it into, up all the way to the 37, and you only need 2 plays to go down and win the game. I thought it was fine. I thought running the ball on 3rd and 7 was it was the right call, because you got the 4 yards that got you into the edge of Groupie's range. And for all this talk about, they lose all these games late, and, what does Steichen know? That doesn't sit super well with me, because late game stuff, when it doesn't go well, gets criticized all the time. But last year, I'm old enough to remember last year when the Colts were kind of on the ropes playoff wise, and they went to New England, and they went down, and Anthony Richardson converted 3 4th downs on a final drive. They got down, they scored the touchdown, and Shane said, F it, we're going for 2. And Richardson ran it in, and at that moment saved the season. No one was criticizing his process then. I'm sure they would have criticized it had they lost the game. And also, by the way, had the Colts won this game in Seattle, I don't know if anyone's criticizing Shane Steichen's thought process. But, that's also how it goes as a head coach, right? When you lose, you're going to get a lot more heat than when you win. So I look at the process, and I look at the way that he changed his complete coaching philosophy in that game to say, we're going to grind this thing down. We're going to play ball control. We're going to play great defense. And this is the way that we're going to win this game. And it almost worked. I mean, that was a major change in how Shane calls games, how he operates as a head coach. And I thought, the team took to it. And to me, that's a sign of a good coach, that he's willing to adapt. And he's not just going to say, we're doing the same stuff. He changed his game plan, and it damn near worked. And not every coach is going to do that. So I hold him in pretty high regard as a head coach and a play caller. I understand when you lose, it's, you're going to take a hard look at that as a fan, and you're going to be frustrated. I get all that. But I think as a head coach and a play caller, I think he's really good. And I think, the knee-jerk reactions that I've seen, from some folks online, I think it's not, grass ain't always greener when you got a guy in the building like Shane. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to criticize that 4th and 3 that much. I mean, at the end of the day, there is no right call at this moment. So there's no correct situation. I mean,
yeah,
you do it like this, and your kicker doing his career high after that, and everything's fine. And if the defense or if Sam Darnold throws one bad pass, everything's perfect, you win that game. And at this point, a lot of people will say, "Oh, you have to play that 4th and 3." But if you play it like you said and it doesn't work, the game is over, and everyone will be like, "Oh, why is he going to play 4th and 3? It's only a 60 yards field goal."
Yeah. The thing that I've also just learned over conversations with head coaches that I've got to know, in my time covering football is like, boy, is it easy to sit back and say something about well, you should have done this or you should have done that. Yeah. It's real easy when it's not your ass who's going to get fired. It's real easy to do that. And I think I've had some coaches emphasize that to me, like very directly, that look, say what you want, criticize what you want, but like when you are the decision maker and the buck stops with you, like it's not as easy as just being like, you should, just go for it here. So Shane Steichen he's in this role to make those decisions. And part of that is understanding that there's going to be criticism if they don't produce the results that you expect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, personally, I'm not a big fan of Shane Steichen. Probably everybody know. But on this point, you can't criticize him really much.
I think I said to the guys, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Mm-hmm. You couldn't really it's a lose-lose situation, really.
I think it's a different calculus if Daniel Jones is at quarterback and he's got 2 healthy knees. I think it's a different calculus in that situation, but that's not what the situation the Colts are in.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Do you think moving forward, obviously assuming that Riley's healthy, do you think that there's elements of like game situation where they may try and run packages with Riley? If it's
good question.
Late.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know how much Riley has worked on that. That's not saying he hasn't. I don't know. So, we'll see. And, look on Richardson, because I know we're probably going to get a question about him. He's cleared from the standpoint of the eye, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's ready to return to practice this week, or even if he does return to practice, he's ready to be activated from injured reserve. So still a lot of questions to be answered there. But I mean, look, the last 2 months for Richardson have been, you got to wait and you can't rush this thing. So like he's just been having to rest the eye and hope it gets better sooner rather than later. But that's not really like, there's nothing he could do. There's nothing the Colts could do to expedite that process. It's very much just his body having to heal from this freak accident that, you feel awful that it happened to him because had Richardson been available and Daniel Jones goes down, he steps into that game in Jacksonville and you think you still got a pretty good shot to win it. And then Richardson's your quarterback. That you're not calling up Phillip Rivers. You're saying we're rolling with Anthony and let's see where it goes. So it's unfortunate. I think now that Phillip is here, he's going to start against San Francisco. That's what Shane told us yesterday. We'll just kind of see where things go after that. If the Colts are still in it and they win this game against San Francisco, I think you'll probably see Phillip Rivers start against Jacksonville. And if they win that game in Jacksonville, you'll probably see him start against Houston. But however it goes over the last couple of weeks of the season, with Richardson specifically, there's no guarantee he even will be able to get back. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on it.
JJ, how does it work with IR? Can Anthony still be around meetings and things like that?
Oh yeah. He can attend all meetings. He can do all that stuff. But he has to be, there's a designation. So he has to be designated to return to practice, which opens up a 3-week window in which the Colts can activate him. So if Anthony were to return to practice this week, the Colts would have basically till the end of the season to activate him off IR. But again, I don't know if he will be or not. Yeah. That's still is very much an outstanding question for Thursday when we get there.
And I mean, I guess the other good thing with Phil, obviously, the media was talking about like a mentor inside for Riley, but I guess that also translates to AR as well. I mean, obviously, we've seen of AR around Philip on the practice field. So
yeah,
I guess
I think there's
experience you just got to lean on, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, Phil sees stuff that most other quarterbacks in the NFL can't see. And, Anthony being able to be with him for a month or however long it may be, I do think it'll be valuable for Anthony long term.
Yeah. Do you know? I think I'm pretty sure he is willing to. How much Philip Rivers is going to be a mentor for both quarterbacks in the time he's going to be back here? I mean, I just think about the situation when we had Joe Flacco, and he was like, "I'm not a mentor. I'm here to compete." But I think Philip Rivers is way different on that standpoint, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good question, Andreas. I mean, I think the number one thing since Phil's starting is he's here to win games. He's here to help the Colts win games. Now, he's already been a mentor to Riley going back to the pre-draft process. So, but I think just like him being in the meeting rooms, I think like when we think about like a mentor, I think we think about someone who's kind of like hand-holding a little bit. Mm-hmm. There's not a ton of that when you're the starting quarterback. There's really not even a ton of that when you're the backup, honestly, because those are still very demanding positions where you got to prepare yourself, and you don't necessarily have the bandwidth to hold someone's hand and say, well, this is what I would, let me be with you for another hour after a meeting or whatever. So just, perspective on that. But I do think just Phil's presence and the way he sees things will absolutely benefit Riley and Anthony, and Daniel's back around after his surgery, as far as I know. Like, it'll probably benefit him too. So that stuff all kind of works together there.
Awesome. I mean, he's a future Hall of Fame quarterback, so everyone can benefit from just having him around.
Hey guys, I do need to hop off here in a little bit, but I do want to bring. I have a guest with me. I want to bring him around here. You want to say hi?
Lucas. Hi.
Look who's here.
How are you? You good?
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Very good. Very good.
Excited
awesome.
for
absolutely. I'll root twice for you guys to make some extra noise for European fans.
Yes.
So, I'll represent you again.
Awesome.
So Lucas has been shadowing me today here at the facility. So he did it last March. He was here, and now he's back here today, and got a little time with Adam Vinatieri earlier when we were taping a podcast. And
awesome.
And Jack Doyle.
And Jack Doyle, got some time with Jack when Jack was taping his podcast. So it's been great having him around, and he's kind of seen some of our inner workings in a game week, which has been really cool. So
that's awesome.
I'll extend the offer to any of your international fans that if you want to come over here and you want to take a little tour of the facility, just hit me up and I'll see what I can do. But Lucas is also it's cool like bringing him back here, where a bunch of the folks who works back here in our content department all remembered Lucas from last year when he visited, and we're all excited to see him and stuff. So it's been really cool having him back around here.
No, that's awesome.
So we will take you by that word for sure when we're next time. Usually I wanted to be in Indy in the next few days too. I think I told you in Berlin that I plan to be there for the next game. Mm-hmm. But work sucks. Can't get off. I have to stay here.
Yeah.
What's a quick one before you go, JJ? What's the vibes like for a primetime game? I guess everyone's more excited for it once you've got that kind of Monday Night Lights football.
Yeah, I mean, it's our first Monday night game since 2022, and here in the States, like Monday Night Football is what you grew up watching. It's kind of this like it's got a lot of tradition to it, and it's a huge stage. And like when you hear that, the Monday night intro song, it just takes you back to I think back to when I was a kid and I was 12 and staying up past my bedtime to watch whatever Monday night game was on, and John Madden and Pat Summerall coming on, to call these games. Like it's really cool to be able to, anytime you have a chance to be a part of a Monday night game, it always feels a little bit more special. And I'm sure for you guys, it kind of sucks. Because what time's kickoff? Like 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, exactly, 2 o'clock. And for me, 2 o'clock, for Sam, 1 o'clock.
So what do you guys do?
Oh, just go to work late.
Nice. Yes. All right.
Undecided whether I'm going to try and get a few hours sleep first, or just going to just power straight through. Not quite decided yet, but I mean, I was saying to the guys, I actually prefer it to the window we played in Seattle. I prefer like either that 1 p.m. kickoff slot, normal,
right,
or the true prime time, because at least it's like a prime time game, like you said, like it's exciting watching a prime time game. Whereas that kind of 9 till midnight is like, ooh, nah, that's not.
Okay, it's good perspective.
Not watching the game isn't an option. So yeah,
I was gonna say, like I asked you, what do you guys do, knowing you're watching? But yeah, there's a process there, I'm sure.
Yeah, just probably being tired on Tuesday.
Well, Tuesday. Definitely work from home.
That's great. Well, I gotta hop off here. But Andreas, Sam, it's been fantastic talking to the guys again. Anytime. Just tell Christoph to reach out, and I'll be on it. So,
great to have you on, JJ. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being with us again.
Cheers, guys.
Have fun.
Yeah, enjoy.
Bye.
Bye. Right.
So, Flo, I think I missed your good evening to everyone message before. And thanks, JJ. Pleasure to have you here, Flo.
So, I mean, we've touched on. I mean, there's not really much more we can do on Seattle, right? I mean, just that end games, just that last defensive drive. Well, really, it's that one play. I mean, the second play going for like 10 yards or something on a blitz. There's not much more they could have done at that point. But it's that first play where it goes for 28. It's a bit of a killer.
I mean, did our defense really been that well? I mean, they didn't break, but they bent a lot. So
there was a fair amount of bending.
Seattle went 6 times into field goal range. That's a lot too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I mean, 56-yarder. You don't know. I mean, well, as Colts fans, we know that you don't make many of those, or we haven't. Except for, I mean, a shout out to Groupie for absolutely nailing that 60-yarder. I mean, that was.
It was.
I think I was tied our franchise record, right?
Sorry?
That's tied our franchise record for longest field goal, I believe I read earlier.
It is?
60-yard. I think so. That's what I read. I mean, I didn't actually properly research it, but I felt like I read that.
I was sitting on my couch when he kicked, and I was trying to hide. And then I jumped up and was like, "We have a kicker again!"
I mean, but then his kickoff was terrible, wasn't it? It's just like his kickoffs had been good all game. Then I don't know, maybe he just put so much like mind, like the thought process and like all the energy just went into making a 60-yarder, like not necessarily the physical energy, but the mental energy, and he just kind of whiffed on the kickoff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had a 2017 win that game. So it was super close.
You went far. No. There was somebody on the predictor league had 19-18, which would have been perfect if we'd got into field goal range in those 11 seconds. They would have nailed it. But yeah, I mean, for me, like I thought the defense looked good. I think still the defensive line is an issue. I mean, Latu had a good game. Like I don't think he did much wrong. But like everyone else, Grove not included. Obviously, Grove's not really there to rush the passer, but everyone else.
I mean, a lot of people praising our defense this game. Oh, Seattle didn't make a touchdown. Yeah, but Seattle went 6 times into field goal range.
it's the same old issues that we knew we were going to have. We had them last year. Is anything over the middle of the field, linebackers can't cover. They're just like, and Pratt's looked like a good linebacker where he's come in, but he is the same as Zaire Franklin. They're the same linebacker. They're just bangers basically. So anything downhill is great, but then as soon as they've got to turn their backs and cover, it's your absolute toast.
Yeah, they can tackle most of the time.
Yeah, that was I actually meant to ask JJ whether there was any talk about Jalen Carlisle. I mean, being a healthy scratch just seems so weird. When you look at the issue, I mean, I think maybe it's because Lou was running, like obviously Rodney Thomas got some snaps. Like I think he's running, rather than running a linebacker in those passing packages, he's just running another safety. But I just think that Carlisle should at least be dressed on game day. That's the way I'd look at it. But
yeah, I mean, we really should have asked him.
That was on my list, and I just completely forgot about it. I got all excited talking about it. But I mean, looking ahead to, I was going to say Sunday. Looking ahead to Monday, what do you think?
I think we might can have a shot. I mean, for me, the whole Philip Rivers play on last Sunday, it felt like it can get better with some practice and then some. It just felt rusty at some points. And rust falls off from during the time. Yeah. So I think don't tell the others, please. Be quiet. Next game is probably the first game in I don't know when, where I say it makes sense that Anthony Richardson didn't start.
Yeah.
So right now, going with Philip Rivers, let's see if he can shake off his rust and show us how we really have left in tank, how much. And I mean, even if we're going to lose that game, it's still not over.
No, I think, I mean, since Berlin, I feel like, and even the Berlin weekend, other than obviously we won, I feel like pretty much every result has gone against us. Like anything that we needed to happen from a playoff perspective seems to have gone against us, and then that's where we're kind of where we were, not last year, the year before, where it's not really in your control. Like you're starting to rely on other teams to do things. Like before, we needed the Chargers to lose out, and then we've got the tiebreaker with the Chargers, so we should be fine there. They're already at 10 wins now, so do we want them to lose out, or do we want them to beat Houston and then Houston potentially lose out? It's annoying that we're in from 7-1 and 8-2 that we're in this spot where we're having to look outside the building and hope for other things to happen. But
we're having Houston playing Vegas and Jacksonville. Jacksonville is going to play Denver this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're 10 wins now as well, are they 10 wins?
Jacksonville should be.
So they got what,
10-4.
Denver, Tennessee, and us. Have they got Tennessee left, or have they played them twice?
The week after, it's
a week after.
Of course, Jacksonville, us, and
then their last game must be against the Titans, right? Division.
Chargers, last game Titans. Yeah.
So they're going to beat the Titans. I mean, everyone beats the Titans. So that puts them at 11 wins. So we'd need to win out, and obviously then we'll have the split with them, and then I guess it would come down to.
But if we look into the wild card spot, I mean, it's even if we lose that game against San Francisco, Houston just have to lose against the Chargers the week after.
Yeah.
And we are at least in control for the second place again.
Yeah, because then I guess we'd both be going in with well, they'd have 10 wins, we'd have 9, but we'd be able to level their 10 wins and then level their head-to-head, right? So then I don't know.
Yeah, we would have to win that last game against the Texans, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will have tied the tiebreaker, and I'm pretty sure we have the divisional the conference tiebreaker against them. So yeah, it's still absolutely possible we're going second in our division, just in front of the Texans.
Yeah,
and can make it to the playoffs with 10 wins. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most seasons you'd make it with 10, and but that's like typical Colts thing, isn't it? Like most times you'll get there with 10 wins, but the year we have 10 wins, there's like 4 teams that have 10 wins. It's like classic things that go against us. But I mean, jumping back to Monday and AR, I completely agree. I don't think it, obviously, and what they've said and what JJ said, and everyone's clarified now. He's medically cleared from his eye standpoint. I read today that he's not even out a lift or anything with the eye injury because they had to wait for the bone to completely heal for him to be even doing weights and stuff like that. So obviously he's going to get up to speed pretty quick, you'd think, from a health perspective. The guy's a machine. I mean, there's no questions about the athletic ability.
Years old still, so yeah, he should be back soon in shape. Yeah.
But yeah, I think to then suddenly throw him into starting against a good San Francisco defense when everything's on the line and you've not played for 2 months yet probably wouldn't be the greatest idea in the world. But I would at least like to see him not come off IR, but have the designated to return the 3-week period, and then let's see. I mean, it would be great to get him in. Even just if you talk like I mentioned to JJ, whether Riley could potentially have packages. You know, if you've got Anthony Richardson there, obviously anything 4th and 3 and down, you know, you'd be mad not to use him over Phillip Rivers. And then looking back at the last drive on Sunday, obviously, you know, you got 11 seconds and you need 40, 50 yards, then you'd put in the guy that can throw it 1,000,000 yards. And But yeah, I mean, definitely would like to see him just at least, even if he's just backup, just actually on the field, like that, you know, we've got some trust in him that we would, if the situation arose, you know, he'd be in there and taking snaps.
I mean, right now we're going with Phillip Rivers. I'm kind of fine with that. I don't know why. I can't explain.
He did okay.
But having Anthony as his backup, I mean, he's still a 44-year-old quarterback. He's one bad hit away from have to exit the game. So yeah, having Anthony as fast as possible back as his backup I'm fine.
Yeah.
And interesting question from Flo. Did you see any chance that Rivers ends up as a coach for the Colts? He sure has a spirit for it, and holy shit, his awareness of opposing D's is just amazing. I never thought about it, but I think I would love it.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, he's already doing the high school stuff, right? So, yeah, I mean, he and everything that JJ said, and even what you've just mentioned there, Flo, with reading the defenses, he'd be at least a perfect quarterback's coach to then, you know, and then go through the ranks, go offensive coordinator. And I mean, as a head coach, I'd imagine as a player, you'd probably run for a brick wall for someone like Phil Rivers. Like, that's the kind of guy that's going to get you absolutely fired up. So probably a bit like Dan Campbell-esque, I'd say it would be kind of the style. I mean, probably a little less weird quotes and stuff. But I think that kind of, you know, you're playing for who the player was, sort of thing. I think he'd be a great coach.
I mean, we had we have some not that bad times, but still bad times with having a coach who played for us and didn't have any coaching experience really.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's not do it like kind of midway through the season if we're just trying to blow everything up, because it probably won't go well. But no Jeff Saturday vibes. But yeah, I think one day he'd make a great coach. A bit like kind of like what Reggie's doing, you know, as a wide receiver coach. I think the same thing could probably be said of him. But yeah, Monday. What do you think we've? Like I was pleasantly surprised with Uncle Phil. I think second half. I was going to say second quarter. Second half, obviously we struggled a bit. Like JJ said, Bernard was out, so you had two backup tackles in there, who I thought did a perfectly fine job, by the way.
Yeah, they did really good.
There's still going to be I mean, Phil Rivers probably from a confidence perspective, he was probably already wanting to get the ball out as quickly as he could anyway. Just first game back and all that sort of stuff. And then when you throw in your blindside is a backup left tackle, you're probably even more concerned about just getting it out there quickly. But I thought he looked fine on all the short stuff. Like you could say, like he read defenses well, like you would expect. The Josh Downs touchdown, I think he probably knew that was a touchdown before he even snapped the ball. I think he knew exactly where he was going with that.
Did he really change that much plays as it looked, or was it just audibles he wasn't able to do from his position because it was that loud in Seattle? Because it looked
to run game to the run. It seemed like he checked out of pass to run quite a bit. I don't think he did it the other way around. I don't think there was many run looks that he then checked to a pass play. Which, yeah, like you said, 3 days with the guys, couple of backup tackles in the second half, loud environment, probably not the easiest thing in the world to do. So hopefully we'll see more of that on Monday. And you'd assume there'd be more of the playbook open to him by Monday as well. He's going to have had 8 days extra from Sunday to learn the playbook and everything like that.
So yeah, on next Monday, what we're going to hope to see is Sauce Gardner, DeForest Buckner, and Jalen Carlisle back in that defense.
Yeah, definitely DFAR. I feel like, he practiced all 3 days last week, didn't he, as limited. So I think you could be, like, touch wood, almost certain he's going to play. Sauce would be great. I thought Jonathan Edwards did okay until the last drive again. But, like, for an undrafted free agent, he looks fine. I think he's definitely worked his way into a backup role. But, yeah, we missing Mooney and Sauce is definitely a problem.
Yeah. But yeah, if we can get all three of them back, our defense should be fine with the San Francisco offense.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it's just whatever CMC brings, isn't it?
Yeah,
we're pretty good We've been touched. We're pretty good in run defense. It's just more what he brings in the passing game, and that's going to be like that's where you want Carlisle, or I don't know. You're probably having to ask Cross or someone to cover him because Zaire and Jermaine probably get absolutely cooked if they're trying to cover CMC.
Yeah, exactly, and that's like you said. These positions CMC gets involved into pass play is our danger zone.
Yeah. Any quick things over the middle, we tend to get cooked. So yeah, it's what we got. I got the Indiana Knights jersey on because I think we're wearing them on Monday, I believe.
Oh yeah, it's Indiana Knights game. Yeah.
So I think the crowd should be up for it. We're pretty much. Like you said, there's an argument to be had that you could lose and you still got a shot with the 2 divisional games. But you're pretty close to being in like must win now. So just think of it as a playoff game and just get the guys up for it, and coach all 4 quarters of the game would be what I'd like to see.
Yeah, that was kind of when no, forget.
Yeah, I'm not even necessarily talking about that last drive. It's just, and I think his hands have been tied a little bit. The injuries are pretty hard to recover from. You've got a quarterback who's not played for 5 years. It was their decision, but there are definitely some mitigating factors, I'd say, from Sunday. But we ran the ball pretty well first half, and he stuck with it as well, which was good to see. Just kind of, I don't know, second half just felt a little bit like everything was really predictable. Like you could tell everything before it was snapped what was going to happen.
Yeah, that's again, like before the last game too, I was really okay. Philip Rivers could work. I want to see it, and it's kind of the same. It was like, okay, it wasn't perfect, but it was, like I said, more rusty than bad. And I want to see what's next. So
yeah, I think this will tell us everything we need to know about Philip Rivers, because the Niners are going to have had some tape on him now, and they know he's starting, so they're going to have had a week's prep where they're prepping for Philip Rivers, no one else. And we'll have a week where he's got more of the playbook, he's got more practice under him, probably be in better shape, after going from sitting on the couch to having what I'd imagine a pretty intense fitness sessions. Just even doing walkthroughs, I imagine, would be intense for Philip right now. So I think we'll get a better idea of what he can do, and then what defenses are going to try and do against him. So I think we'll know everything we need to know from Monday night.
So how is your prediction?
I mean,
I myself just didn't thought about it, so take your time.
I just can't pick against I picked against us last week against Seattle. I can't do it 2 weeks in a row. There were definitely some promising signs. I think we can score some points at home as well. I think the next 2 games being at home is massive. I'm gonna say that we win it 27-24 Colts.
That's super close. Yeah, but it will be a close game.
Yeah, I can't see us blowing them out.
Give me a 24-17.
I'll take 3-0. I'll take 2-0.
Yeah. Whatever it takes to get the W. How much impact is that for a team having 4 straight losses?
I mean, and I feel like we've had this before in previous seasons where we stack losses and then we tend to just capitulate and just crawl up into a ball and don't fight. Whereas this game here is the game to show that you've still got the fight. I think they showed that in Seattle. I think there was plenty of fight out there. So I think this team looks a little bit more resilient than we have done in previous years. It's just now this is the time for Shane to prove that you can go and you can coach in crunch time and win us a game that a must have game.
Yeah, I mean it's Monday night. It's a special game. Probably the Colts will do something special because it's the first Monday night since forever. And maybe any Jim Irsay extra stuff for that game to hype the players up and just do whatever it takes to hype that guys.
The crowd's going to be hyped for that, and I think the players should be able to feed off of it. So
I'm pretty sure JJ will hype them up.
Yeah, exactly. JJ is going to bring it, so the team just has to as well. And I think they will. I think this is. I've got a good feeling about this game that we're just kind of maybe going to put ourselves back into contention.
Yeah. So we're in good hope for Monday. Thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah.
See you guys next week. Cheers and go Colts.
Hey, go Colts.